Welcome back, everybody. This is Gene and Steph.
Hello there.
Reviewing it again. Steph, you look like you were amused. Are you always amused at my sway and dance on the intro?
Yes, because I don't know what's going through your head when
I'm just getting ready. I'm amped, baby. That's all I can say. You know, I'm a professional. This is a work of art, so I treat it as such. Just because you're not as enthused as I can't do anything about that. Oh, viewers, listeners, you don't get this, but viewers, if you notice, I'm donning this beautiful top that you may remember from last season. DJ Gene and Lampin and Sweet and Low. What was it? Shout It Low? Sweet and Low?
MC Sweet and Low.
MC Sweet and
right.
Low. I apologize. I apologize. Yes, MC Sweet and Low. This was our 80s get up, but I felt like I needed to whip this top back out. Might as well use it again. So this is for your viewing pleasure. Listeners, just imagine a nice tracksuit that looks like Burberry, but it's not. It's fake Burberry pattern. So if I could just help out. Today, what we'll talk about still. Hold on. This is season 3. Give them the tagline still. And I need you to give some oomph to it. I've been getting a lot of calls and messages.
What's the tagline?
Season 3.
Season 3 of
Nothing.
Let's View It Again. Nothing but action.
Thank you. There you go, listeners and viewers who called and wrote in and said this stuff needs to be more into the broadcast.
More enthusiastic.
Yes, there you are. So, but today on Let's View It Again,
Yes.
Nothing But Action season, we're talking about Face Off.
Face Off.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have said it like that.
No. That's not how we're going to say that.
I don't know about we, but
That's not how I'm going to say
Face
that.
Off.
Face Off.
You did it anyway.
Just
tell
because
us.
I'm a team player.
Yes.
If that's what you want, that's what you get. Yeah, this is 1997's Face Off. I guess a film that we both had fond memories of. Rewatch. It was interesting point. This is pretty much the action version of Freaky Friday. So if no one has ever seen it, this is a masterpiece of overacting and stylistic action. So get into that. If you hadn't watched it, turn this off because there's going to be spoilers. I don't know if I should say that. I hope
Hopefully
you would know,
you know.
what you're tuning into. But this is 1997's Face Off. Steph,
Yes.
give the people a synopsis.
All right. From our favorite website. Can you guess?
This is from IMDb. Hey, the folks over at IMDb, y'all need to give us like some sponsorship or something. I don't know.
But yeah, this is a summary on IMDb. To foil a terrorist plot, FBI agent Sean Archer assumes the identity of the criminal Castor Troy, who murdered his son through facial transplant surgery. That's kind of confusing. He didn't get murdered. The way that it's written, it's the English teacher in me. But anyway, Sean Archer assumes the identity of the criminal Castor Troy. Castor Troy is the criminal who murdered Archer's son. And he sets out to, Archer sets out to assume the identity of Troy through facial transplant surgery. But the crook wakes up prematurely and vows revenge.
And that's not to be confused with the down south Georgia boy, Pastor Troy.
It is not.
Well, because those are two different entities.
Yes.
But so if you're listening and you thought this was a Pastor Troy episode, don't know.
Sorry
Go
to
back.
disappoint
We'll
you.
do that with another time. What's up? Big mouth, big talk, big game.
All right, let's look a little bit at our stars of this movie. We have John
Who plays Pastor
Travolta.
Troy?
John Travolta plays Sean Archer. He was born February 18th, 1954. His wife, Kelly Preston, is also a famous actress. She passed in 2020. Kelly Preston. She was also well-known actress. He was born in Englewood, New Jersey. When he was 18 years old, he got his first Broadway role in Grease, which later became a movie in 1978. You still haven't seen that, have you?
I would not see it.
I gotta play it for you.
No thanks.
He had numerous TV roles. One that I saw recently was Welcome Back, Kotter from 1975. This was like the end of 2023. I saw it and I started watching some episodes. And I was like, oh, that's John Travolta. But there's one that he was in. I think it was on ABC. He went on in 1977. So just 2 years later, you have Saturday Night Fever. He got Oscar and Golden Globe nominations. Also Pulp Fiction, 1994. I know that's a while after. He also got another Oscar nomination. I don't think I knew that. Of course, we were young, but I didn't know that movie had Oscar nominations.
It's an Oscar-worthy film.
I got you.
Did he not get one for Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking Too?
I don't think he got it for that, but those are movies I'm sure we watched a lot.
We're gonna find some kind of season to throw those type of movies in. Homeward Bound.
All of those. That would be a good season. I guess when the teacher brings the TV card in, all those movies that we watch.
We'll get something for you guys.
Yeah, that would be a good one. He also, just a fun fact, he holds jet licenses. I don't know if that's something that you had on yours. Apparently,
about John Travolta.
He and his wife, he actually flew a jet, during Hurricane Katrina. To deliver aid, resources to those individuals. So he has, I think it said 11 is what I found. He had 11 jet licenses. Could be more now. Could be less. I'm not sure. But apparently he's a pilot.
What do you mean by 11 licenses? Like you need a different license for each jet you fly?
It was one page. It named like different types of planes. I don't know. But either way, he can fly a jet. He's a pilot.
And he'll look fly doing it.
Yes, John Travolta, because he's John Travolta. Travolta. We have Nicolas Cage, who plays Castor Troy.
Well, Oh, you said Castor. I'm sorry.
He was born Nicholas Kim Coppola on January 7th, 1964.
Coppola.
Coppola, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to correct you.
No, I appreciate it because I don't have a problem with it.
Like Francis Ford Coppola. I think that's one of his relatives.
Why are you in my car on my cards?
Oh.
Bye. Say it again, Coppola?
Yeah, I apologize. And like I didn't say that, listeners.
Thank you. I have no problem with that.
Does he have any famous relatives still?
Shut up. That was my next thing. His uncle was director Francis Ford Coppola. Okay. His first role was in Fast Times of Ridgemont High, 1982. Apparently that movie had a lot of controversy.
Because they were hanging out at high school?
It was high schools. I want to say the original cut had like frontal nudity, and they said it may have been the first time you heard or saw a woman or a teenager or something to the effect, women or young women speak about sex on, I guess so forwardly on camera. Yeah. But there was a lot of controversy. I think it said that he had maybe more lines, but it got cut, but it was still technically his first role.
Never seen it. I've heard of it. But
I think Sean Penn stars in it.
He turned out to be a weirdo, so sounds about right.
I'm not sure about that. But he changed his last name to Cage to kind of, pave his own way because of his uncle's name.
Where did he pull that from? Just like
Cage. I don't know. Started with a C. 1995, he received an Oscar for Best Actor for his role in Leaving Las Vegas. I've never seen that. One of my favorites is Ghost Rider by him. We used to watch that whenever it comes.
I've seen it.
That's one movie I remember when I think of Nicolas Cage.
I think this is the only one that I would think of. I remember this one too, yes. Raising Arizona when I was young that he was in. I can't think of something that just this movie Face Off, 1997 Face Off, just screams Nick Cage. Everything about it is Nick Cage worthy. But yeah, Ghost Rider, I kind of remember it, but it's not one of
I kind of want to go find it now.
We'll do that. We'll put that in our superhero season. But I'll give you a couple facts about Face Off. Face Off was written by Mike Werb. I hope I'm saying that right. Werb. And Michael Collieri. They optioned the script to Warner Brothers in 1991. So they had it sitting around for 5 or 6 years before they started production. People were turning it down. They Webb and Collieri are their frequent collaborators, and Werb's most notable screenplay is 1994. I think I'm right. 1994's The Mask, starring Jim Carrey.
One of my favorites.
Of course, you love Jim Carrey movies. And that's very interesting that he worked on The Mask and this movie, because both of those feature people taking their face off.
Yes, The Mask.
Yeah, but the film is directed by John Woo. He had an extensive filmography in Hong Kong prior to this film and his U.S. releases. His first release was in 1993. It was Hard Target, with Let's View It Again favorite, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not familiar with that movie, but that was in 1993. That was his U.S. theatrical debut. Then he came back in 1996 with Broken Arrow, which also stars John Travolta. So John Woo, John Travolta, they got together and did some things in the 90s. His most financially successful film is probably 2000's Mission Impossible 2. A personal fave of mine. This is where I just kind of detour for a while. John Woo directed a movie in, I think it was like 98. It was called Blackjack. Steph, are you familiar with this?
I don't believe so.
I feel like I've mentioned this on this show before. I can't think of why it came up, but we're going to revisit. Blackjack, directed by John Woo, stars Dolph Lundgren. Okay. Dolph Lundgren is like a CIA agent, one of those agent type guys. He's trying to save a little girl, and somebody throws a flashbang grenade. This temporarily blinds him. What happens next, Steph, when you're blinded by a flashbang? You develop a phobia to white, the color white. So, the entire premise of this movie is the bad guy constantly getting away from Dolph Lundgren by exploiting his fear of the color white, which is a hilarious point in the movie. He takes him to a milk factory. And he like burst open the tanks of milk, and he like kicks Dolph Lundgren around because he's scared of white. Milk is white, and he's like crawling on the floor. It's like his kryptonite. And he's like, "Is it white, Jack? Is that what you're afraid of? Is it white?"
What's the matter with your eyes, Jack? Huh? Is it this? Huh? It's white, isn't it? You're afraid of the color white. I'm lactose intolerant.
If you've never seen Blackjack starring Dolph Lundgren, please find that and add it to your daily watch list.
And that's what director?
That's directed by John Woo as well. Yeah, that's a made-for-TV movie. I thought it was I had it on DVD. I didn't know it was a made-for-TV movie because I like Dolph Lundgren, Drago. Okay. So yes, check that out. Anyway, back to Face Off. Yes. Also directed by John Woo. It was shot on a $80 million budget. It returned $245.7 million at the box office. Like 115 of that was domestic. So it was pretty popular here and overseas. It still holds generally positive reviews. A lot of people love Nick Cage's portrayal in this movie. They think it's one of his better, I guess his 3 better films, Con Air, this, and I don't know, something else. But that's what I saw in my research. But I think it has like 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. So everybody loves it. It's a cult classic. But I will kind of switch it up for this. We've already done 1997 facts. I know we've been in the year 97. So for this episode, I'm going to do 1997's notable face-offs. That's interesting, right, Steph?
Like that.
You like that?
That.
Number one, OJ versus the court of public opinion. This is the year that OJ was found liable for his wife's and Ron Goldman's death in a civil suit that happened in, early 97, January 97. Also, Man vs. Nature, a notable face-off because this is the year that The Crocodile Hunter premiered. Steve Irwin facing off against alligators and iguanas every week for our entertainment. The most notable face-off of 1997 is Tyson v. Holyfield. Number 2, Steph. This is the year that he bit Mike Tyson took a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear, literally trying to take a piece of his face-off. That is 1997's notable face-off and some face-off facts. Take it over, Steph.
Let's take it over. All right, so getting into it. So it starts off, we're at a scene. Families at this carousel. We have Sean Archer, played by John Travolta. I cannot say his name for some reason. He's on the carousel with his son. And we have Castor Troy, played by Nick Cage. He ends up shooting Archer in the back. We don't know their backstory. That's just how it opens. I guess, to grab their attention. He shoots him in the back. But Archer's son actually, dies from the shot. And then we fast forward to 6 years later. So, if you ever had beef with somebody,
beef never dies.
Apparently. Yes. So we have Archer. He's on 6 years later. He's on some covert anti-terrorism team. And Castor Troy, we have a scene. He's dressed as what appears to be a priest. He places a box in some building. We don't know what it is at that time, but it's downtown. They make him, he's just a creepy character. He's a creepy guy. It's like this girl that it appears he's assaulting her. It's like he smells her. They have this choir, and I guess he's trying to blend in as part of.
Is that weird? She's a teenager, but smelling a person in general, is that weird?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Entering someone's space without their permission is weird.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
The Messiah. In fact, I think it's boring. But your voice makes even a hack like Handel seem like a genius. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah! Castor ends up getting on a jet, but there's an undercover agent on there, right? And she reveals herself. He just throws her out. So that's the ridiculousness just kind of starts. He throws her out. Archer shoots an engine. John Travolta's character shoots an engine while flying a helicopter. Like they just go.
Hey man, listen,
right
John
in.
Woo is excellent. The action is over the top and no explanation needed.
Yes, and so there's a shootout. So they start early with the action, right to it. Archer and Troy, they have a face-off, the first face-off of this movie. They really drive it home. And then Archer ends up, of course, capturing Troy. So
yeah, of course.
That's
how. Had to drive it forward.
You had to get him, had to push the storyline forward.
Yes, they set up Castor Troy, once again, not to be confused with the DSGB member, as this weirdo, but also as like, I don't know, a ladies' man type cool character, because but it's like Nick Cage isn't giving that, if I must. But it's a crazy portrayal, I'm sure. But he just they just go straight into it with no explanation as to why he's doing the things he's doing.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times action movies can do too much with the trying to give a backstory to everything. All of it is, we know, it's just fiction, of course. But just drop me in it, like, whatever.
And just get to it.
Aliens are here. I'll just accept that. You don't have to give me the whole backstory or whatever the case might be. But they definitely get to the blowing up and all that.
The action. Early and often, baby.
Shooting
early and often.
The plane in a helicopter. It's just whatever.
Says over the top.
But hey.
But so Archer, he does capture Troy. But now we're back at the Archer residence, and Sean lets his wife know that he's finally got their son's killer. Now that it's over, he's going to get a desk job and go to counseling. He's going to do all the stuff that she's been telling him to do. And he said, I couldn't do that because I had to get that man, mama. Next day, Archer goes into the office and he's greeted by the coworkers. They do the slow clap thing. Very weird. CCH Pounder, you didn't bring, she's in this movie. You didn't bring her up, but she's the coworker, boss. I don't really know anyone's title.
I mean, they're the ones that had the large roles. Yeah. It really was.
It's basically about John Travolta and Nick Cage, but CCH Pounder, yes. I think she's an excellent actress. But she brings Sean a floppy disk from Pollux Troy's briefcase that they recovered. It has
Pollux Troy.
I apologize. Pollux is Castor Troy's brother. Interesting fact, Steph. Do you know what the names Castor and Pollux are a reference to?
No.
Greek mythology. Not familiar with their stories, but I just thought I should tell you that they were sons of Zeus, and Castor was not immortal, and Pollux was, and he said, I want my brother to be immortal too, and he said, fine, I'll make you stars, and that's the Gemini constellation. So
cool, fun fact.
It has nothing to do with these characters, so I don't know why they chose those stupid names.
So does Archer have something to do? Does the name Archer have something to do?
There's Archers in Greek mythology, but I didn't put all that together. We probably should have did some deep dives on it. It seems like
that's
it's
y'all
a
homework.
common thing. Do your homework. Anywho, Pollux has a floppy disk in his briefcase. They've recovered this floppy disk. It has Castor's schematic for a bomb that could do damage to the area. So that case that Steph referenced in the first, it was a bomb that he was placing. But nobody knows when it's going to go off or how to stop it.
Of course.
Stuff like that. Sean wants to go and interrogate Pollux because, he could beat it out of him, basically, is what he wants to do. I'm just going to be straight up. It's a lot of...
Just like law enforcement.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Steph, for taking over. But Sean's boss was like, calm down, John Travolta. Be cool. And that's not a reference to the film Be Cool because they hadn't came out yet. He's just telling him to be cool. Yeah. But Pollux is in there. He said, I'm not talking until I see my brother. That's a problem because he's presumed dead, at this point. But CCH Pounder says, well, about that, Mr. Archer, we have a little something up our sleeve. So they drive Archer out to Walsh Institute. It's ran by Mr. Malcolm Walsh, who is the bio cover lead. I don't know what bio cover means, but we'll get to that. At the Walsh Institute, in addition to rebuilding body parts for injured agents, they also help agents go undercover by changing their looks. We're getting into the thick of it now. They also go around the corner and they happen to have Castor Troy on life support. And it's just like, he's like, what? You got this guy in here? What is he?
What are we saving him for?
What are we saving him? We got him here sucking up government funds on life assistance. Why? Pull himself up by the bootstraps. And they say, calm down. He's a vegetable. You don't have to worry about that. But they never explain why they actually pulled him in there. They were just holding on to him, breaking in case of emergency, I suppose. But they get into the whole not necessarily backstory. They're breaking down how this is. They're trying to sell you an idea that you can come in, you can change the look. And what we're going to do with you, Archer, and the Troy that we have is we're going to take your face off. Hence the name of the movie. And we're going to put it on his body. Mind you, these two individuals look nothing alike. Nick Cage and John Travolta aren't the same height. They're not the same weight. But they explain it all the way and say, we're going to just trim some fat here and sculpt you there. And then you'll look just alike. And don't worry about the voice. We got a voice box implant. Everything is wrapped up tight with a bow on it. So initially Sean is like, no way. Of course, this sounds ridiculous.
Crazy.
But he says, no, I'll do this the right way, and I'm gonna go in. I don't need to switch bodies because this is a crazy plan, CCH Pounder. I'm gonna go old fashioned police work, and I'm gonna find the bomb. And the next thing he does is find a henchman, and he tries to beat the information out of him. Old fashioned police work. But I will say, the dude had it coming because he brought up like Archer's dead son for no reason. He's just like, hey, what about your dead son, Archer? Ha ha ha. It was unprompted. And then, like I say, the agent did some police brutality, but, whatever. The henchman does tell him that it is a bomb or whatever, but nobody knows the location except Pollux. So now Archer is backed into a corner.
Back to Pollux.
He's like, okay, fine. We don't have any other option. Go ahead and switch everything about me. And they say, okay, we're going to do it, but you can't tell anybody, not even your wife, which is stupid, but whatever. So his wife doesn't know. The director of the FBI, nobody knows but Archer, the doctor, CCH Pounder, and Bunny from The Wire. Those are the 4 people who know what's going on. And Archer's like, cool, all right, whatever. He the funny part about this whole scene is Archer, he's mulling it over in his brain, and he's like, you ask me to break the law, risk my neck, and put all the people that I love in the dark and put them in danger. And then he just says, I'll do it. He goes straight to the, and I'm not making it up. It's like 3 seconds. He's like, I'll do it. So he agrees to do the body swap.
Yes, take his face off.
Yeah, to take his face off.
So you kind of have Archer's wife. I don't know, maybe she senses something is wrong, but she does make a line, says a line, that she's afraid that he won't come home. A little foreshadowing, right? No, it won't be him, but he'll
sorta
be there. Sorta kinda. No woman wants to sorta kinda have somebody come home to her.
This is why he should have told his wife at least, but.
Yes, and then she rubs Archer's face, which is something that
I forgot about that.
They do throughout the movie. It's something that their family does. They rub faces.
I'm not sure why they do this.
I don't know if it's something they just wanted to sneak in there for symbolism, but anyway,
maybe it has something to do with Greek mythology.
I don't know. So yeah, like you said, Archer is ready to go through with this procedure. He wants to keep his scar from the shot that Castor Troy, made at the very beginning when his son died. I'm guessing as,
a memento.
Yeah, to his dead son. So he wants to keep that scar. That'll come up later, apparently. So we have the face-off procedure. You have the face looks like it's like swimming in water, some type of solution. Real Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
If you remember that scene.
There's just a loose face in a tank.
Archer wakes up. He's seemingly upset because, it worked. I guess he wasn't thinking like, hey, when I look in the mirror the next time, I'm not going to see myself.
It's hard to face himself, if you will.
Ha ha. There you go.
That is quite a hilarious scene. Nick Cage overacts anyway.
Yes.
But this scene and a bunch, actually another scene with a mirror, he loses it and goes full Nick Cage.
Hey, you okay? Come on, talk to me.
And I think you made the observation. I guess I want to skip ahead, but it's just not necessarily skipping ahead. Everyone essentially becomes Nick Cage in the movie.
Yes, everyone becomes Nick Cage. No, it's like Archer is the, I guess you say, cool Nick Cage. And then Castor Troy,
who is now Archer.
It's just Nicolas Cage acting like a nervous Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
We don't get
John Travolta.
We don't
anywhere.
get Archer from Nicolas Cage playing him. It's just it's still Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. But anyway, I apologize for jumping in.
No, that is a good point. They're both just Nicolas Cage. So yeah, Archer has to face. He's surprised that he doesn't look like himself. You talked about the voice match method. That's completed in like 2 seconds. So whatever. And so Archer, who is now Castor Troy, goes to a prison. Apparently, this is a prison that's magnetic. So the guards have to, I guess, release the magnetic charge with the floor so that the prisoners can walk. And at any point, they can stop them in their tracks.
They have like, awesome. I didn't put that together. Yes, they up and stop in the track. If anyone's seen Super Mario's Brothers, those boots that they have on, that's what they have in this movie. It's like they just brought the props over from the Super Mario Brother.
Yes.
But they're metallic boots that, I guess, do the boots have magnets in them, or is it just the floor?
Well, I guess they would both have to have it,
No, magnets repel.
Well, I guess so, huh? Wait a minute. But anyway, whatever.
I don't know
if it's in the boot.
Magnets, how do they work?
But they can literally stop every prisoner with like a push of a button.
Seems dangerous. Cause what if you fall over backwards? Now you're doing a HBCU back bend.
Whatever, bro.
Okay, go ahead.
So Archer sees Castor's brother, right, which is his brother. Pollux think, this is his brother in jail. There's a fight. I guess Archer has to assert himself as Castor Troy, like, I'm here.
He goes
if
full
you
Nick
didn't
Cage
know,
again.
if you didn't see my face, I'm here.
I am Castor Troy. Doesn't he say that? I am Castor Troy.
It's so bad.
I am Castor Troy.
Yes, it's like if he almost wants to cry.
You know what? It makes sense because he was supposedly, the backstory they say, to explain it all the way, they say, oh, he was in a coma. So they've been telling all his henchmen and whatever that, oh, it's okay, I just been in a coma. So I'm assuming if somebody comes out of the coma, they just start doing weird thing by speaking to themselves in third person.
Maybe so, but of course, well, I say of course, but he's tasered. You expect it to happen.
Of course he was tasered.
Yes.
In this metallic electromagnetic field prison. That seems dangerous.
Prison is dangerous.
Well, I'm talking about tasering somebody, like, I don't know how magnets and electricity work. A scientist right in. If you're an engineer, tell us how that would work practically. Anyway. So
something
now,
like being tasered with
like
you seems to be a magnetic field. I don't know. Go ahead.
So now we're back at the Walsh Institute. The real Castor Troy wakes up just like normally. I don't know if I was running a secret government program with a dangerous guy. I would, put him on some kind of medicine that just incapacitates him forever because we don't need him. And I mean, I know that's cruel what I'm suggesting, but we shouldn't have somebody just waking up after a major face-off surgery. But it happened. He gets up and, also he's not handcuffed to the bed or anything. They do that for regular criminals around here. They didn't even think of that. They left him there by himself. He wakes up in an empty Walsh Institute. He sees that he does not have a face. He sees that face in the bowl of water that Steph was talking about. And he freaks out. I'm going to insert that here. He gets a hold of himself, then he makes a call. Good thing everybody knew phone numbers back then. Because he calls his henchman and he says, hey, I need you to kidnap the doctor and bring him here because we got some work to do. And he said, what do you want him for? It's like, take a guess. So we're back to the prison though. Now, Faith Castor and the Pollux, they're having a conversation. fake Castor / Archer, he's trying to pull the info from Pollux about the bomb because nobody still knows where it is. But Pollux starts to suspect stuff.
This is a lot to find a bomb. Not saying like,
It's
bombs
important.
aren't dangerous, but it's like, I guess this assumption that they have this much time. Like, did they ever say?
No, that was the whole point. I think they knew how much time they had.
And how did they know that? I don't remember. How did they know?
Maybe they didn't know.
They
either
had
one.
all of these days before it blew
And that's the crazy
up.
part. When they initially showed like the flash of the bomb, it had like 6 days or something like. So I know this can't have taken place in 6 days.
But
it's not
even
explained.
still, it's the assumption that they had the
Enough time
to do this surgery,
to do a face-off procedure.
for them
What's
to
the healing
recoup.
time on
I was
that?
about to say for them to
That's like a
heal and then
in
go
and out
out.
procedure. Just go in and get your whole face taken off. Not even mentioning get you like your face reconstructed to look like Nick Cage and or Sean Archer. I don't know, but anyway,
But yes,
we're at the prison.
Just really thought about that.
Archer, the fake Castor, and his brother are having a conversation. The brother's suspecting something. He's like, man, chill out. Once again, I've been in a coma. I could talk crazy. Who knows? But Pollux, he's like, man, don't worry about it. Brother, I know you're acting weird, but the bomb is at the LA Convention Center. I know you forgot that because you were in a coma. He's like, oh, okay. Well, that's all wrapped up. Let me get out of jail. Only problem with that, once again, there were 4 people who knew this thing was going on. I'm assuming whoever else works at the Walsh Institute. They didn't show these people, but the doctor has been kidnapped.
They know.
We know that. So, they tell the fake Castor, Archer, that he has a visitor. And who walks in but himself? The real Archer. And he's like, what? What's going on here? The fake Archer, which is Castor Troy, tells him, hey, I kidnapped the doctor. I torched everything at the Walsh Institute. They don't have any backups anywhere because this was a top secret thing. Everybody's dead. Nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody's
and you're going to rot here in prison. And everybody who knows that you're me and I'm you is dead,
You just sound like a crazy person trying to tell somebody this, right?
Correct. Fake Castor, Archer, it's very confusing trying to explain this. He freaks out, starts to choke the fake Archer / Castor, and he's like, oh, turn him loose. The guards come, they beat him loose, and like, get out of here. Now fake Archer's on his way. He's going to the Archer household. He gets there, and he has a brand new attitude. I would say he's smoking. You get this stuff? Smoking.
I got it.
Okay. That's a mask reference.
That's
because
a mask.
he's being cool. He's walking around in the house with sunglasses on. He's smoking cigarettes. None of this stuff the real Archer does.
Because, at this point, he doesn't care. Figure me out, if you will.
What are you going to do?
You can't take this face from me.
No, because nobody who knows how to do face re-swap surgery is alive anymore. So I am Archer now. He walks around the house, and then they have a really confusing scene of fake Archer looking at real Archer's daughter in her underwear. It doesn't explain anything, but if we flash back to the first scene that Steph was talking about, he already assaulted one teenager, so if you put 2 and 2 together,
and they keep doing it, it's like, why?
We didn't need
why,
to.
Why do we need that? I don't know. They're just driving home he's an unsavory character, I guess.
That is
understated.
That is a very understated statement.
But it's very weird.
He busts into this daughter room and says, what's going on in here? I think she's smoking a cigarette, listening to James Brown. What teenager in 1997 was listening to James Brown? What white teenager was listening to James Brown smoking cigarettes?
Just let it happen.
But they're listening to Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, if you didn't know that this Archer is too cool. So.
Yes. Right. So, what's his name? Pollux, Castor Troy's brother is released. And then,
because his brother got pulled now because he's an FBI agent.
Yes. Castor Troy.
I guess is he FBI? CIA? I don't know.
Archer was part of FBI.
Okay, FBI.
Anti-terrorism
There you
change.
go. Oh, you did say all of that, huh?
Yeah. No, but yeah. Not just your regular police officer, no. So Troy who is now Archer, disarms the bomb. He looks like the hero. He knows exactly where it's at. He ends up assaulting a staff, another woman. Like you said, they just keep doing this.
Who did he assault in this one?
It was like one of his co-workers or something.
On the plane?
No,
this is not. Okay.
I don't think it was in the plane. It might have been at the office, but I just brought it out because he keeps doing stuff like this. That's who he is. If you didn't catch it the first time,
yeah.
He has dinner with Archer's wife. He's playing Archer now, and then you have Archer, who's playing Troy. He ends up attacking guards. So we're back at the prison. Cause he wants to go to the electric chair. Cause apparently the magnetic field or the boots come off there. So,
they have to take him off to put you in the chair. That's what it was, right?
Yeah. Apparently they come off. So I guess his plan is to, get out of their control. Cause as long as he had the boots on, they could, stop him at any moment.
I told you electricity and magnets were dangerous.
Yeah. So I don't know if like the boots are iron and the floor is magnetic. But I don't know, or something like that. Because remember, they could walk. It was just very, very heavy. But whatever the case is,
they making them stronger.
Huh?
Like you just walking around with leg weights on all day.
But when can you get out of them?
But
except to go to an electric chair, apparently. So
seems like a loophole.
I mean,
that they should have.
Who
closed.
wants to go to the electric chair just so they can get the boots off?
I would.
That's
what Castor Troy did.
That's what he did.
Archer.
But everybody's not a.
Where did he learn this from? He just kind of peeped out the scene.
I don't know, but as far as we know, he could have had knowledge about how the prison operates.
That's true. Okay.
Like I said, they just dump us in it, which is fine. We don't have to think too much about it. He's at a prison.
So you're telling me stop thinking so much about it. Just let it go, man.
So again, you see Archer and Troy. Everybody's just acting like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Archer, who's now Troy, escapes the prison by attacking guards. So apparently his plan works, and jumping into the ocean.
Or some kind of large body of water. Gulf.
Yeah, they're somewhere out in the water. But anyway, he escapes. So.
Yeah, the prison is like on an oil rig or something.
Yes, it's on the coast of Louisiana or something.
That's what they said?
No, I'm just saying the way it looks. Yes,
because do we know? I'm assuming they're in California. Do we know what they are?
What's it called? The Gulf.
Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah,
he jumps into the Gulf of Mexico.
That's what we're gonna say. Say it again. You had a question. What?
I didn't know what state we were in.
I really don't remember.
Did they bring that up? Looks like California to me.
They may have, but
it was shot in California, so we'll say they were in California.
He
was
escaped.
in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
Or the Gulf of Mexico.
You can go.
So after he jumps into the Gulf, we flash back to, there's a bunch of this in the movie, flashback, the intercuts to real Archer, fake Archer. They go back and forth.
Yes.
These are the two main characters. But Archer, the fake Archer / Troy, he goes to the office to inform, he goes to the office and they tell him that Troy is dead / Archer. Once again, this is very confusing to try to explain. But he jumps into the Gulf. Everybody assumes he's dead. So everything's wrapped up.
I guess, like you said, fake. That helps.
Yeah, the fake Troy's dead.
Yes.
But we know that the movie can't end like that. He's not dead. Somehow he swam from the Gulf of Mexico back to civilization. He's running around the city. This is a dangerous criminal that should have all kind of APBs out, but he makes it around and he steals a car. And luckily he steals a car with a car phone. This is very 1997 thing. He calls his wife, trying to tell her like, hey, the guy that you're in the house with isn't you.
Possibly slept with is
yes, that was implied. But he's trying to explain to her that the guy is fake. But like I say, major oversight because he never told his wife that he was going undercover. So now she's like, why is Castor Troy calling me? Or whoever you are, get off my line. So she hangs up in his face. Then he calls over to the FBI headquarters office or whatever. And who do you know picks up the phone? Fake Archer. And he's like, hey, buddy, I'm out. I'm looking for you or something to that effect. But drives over. I don't know how fake Troy knows where real Troy's hideout is. We don't get an explanation. And Steph told me to don't worry about it. Nonetheless, he heads to the real Troy's hideout where all the henchmen are. They show up and they're like, oh, man, Castor, I didn't believe you gonna make it. How did you get out of there? Whatever, you know. They having a henchman party. They bring him a case with his 2 golden Glocks in. They say, here's your case of guns and some chiclets. And I'm not making it up. They give him chiclets. I don't know why. But he gets high, not off the chiclets, but off some powdery substance. And then he's unsober with the henchmen. They're having a good time. They're spinning around in circles, and they say the name of the movie like 12 times because Castor's high out of his mind. He says, I need to find Archer. And they said, what are you going to do with him? And he say, I'm going to take his face off. I'm going to take his face off.
I'd like to take his face off.
And they just go back and forth doing it for like 30 minutes. But he goes full Nick Cage in this scene again. He sees himself in a mirror. He's confused because he's high off chiclets and cocaine, and he pulls the guns out and points them at the mirror, and he's smiling and he's crying. He's going through all of the emotions at once. And then his baby mama walk in. I don't know if we mentioned this, but real Troy has a child, and the lady who is that child's mother is at the hideout too. And she's like, what is going on in here? Why are you pointing the gun at yourself, Castor Troy? And then she just socks him and knocks him out because he's acting like a high person would act.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Troy wants his face back. We have a scene where Troy, acting as Archer, sees Archer's daughter is about to be attacked. I guess you could say rape, because she clearly does not want the guy's advances. So I don't know if he's developing a soft spot for this family, but he ends up attacking
it's like
Archer's
wife
daughters.
swap. You know, when they send the wife to the house with the unruly kids, like they jumping off the bunk beds, and then by the end of it, they start listening to her. It's like
it could be that, or it could be he's like, I don't need to draw any unnecessary attention to this family.
I'm the only one who sexually assaults people.
Apparently, who knows? But he does. He ends up blaming the girl's clothing. So any thought you had that he might be trying to do something good, he ends up blaming her for.
That's a very 1997 thing to say.
Yeah,
respectability.
And then he gives her a knife, so that cures everything.
That's to cure out everything.
Yeah.
It gives her a butterfly knife and says,
give a woman a weapon, and then that fixes everything.
And he said, if they try that again, stick them.
But Archer finds out that Troy has a son, apparently. While he was away, the mom hid the child. Hid Castor Troy's child.
Oh,
from
I didn't mean
him.
to step on your toes with that. Mentioning a child. I didn't know you had that coming up.
Oh, no problem. When Archer asked, Castor Troy.
I told you it's very hard to explain, right?
Sees the boy, he rubs the boy's face. So we got that again where they do the face rub. There's a shootout, right? FBI finds out where the fake Troy is and his gang.
Well, and that's the part about it. It's the fake Troy / Archer's fault because he called Archer and said, I'm out of prison. Naturally, he's going to come to the hideout to find you.
Yes.
Why you just didn't stay quiet?
He knows where his people are.
You fool.
But maybe he wanted him to come to him. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know.
Draw him out of hiding.
Yeah. So we see Archer in the middle of the mirror. We got this thing going on with reflections. Who am I now?
They're facing off yet again.
Yes. Troy's brother, Pollock, he ends up getting killed because Archer, the fake Archer, throws him out the window.
He threw him through a skylight, didn't he?
Something
Dropped
like
him,
that. Yeah. So, Scar. They say he sounds like Scar.
He was talking like Scar.
He's gone at this moment.
Yeah, this scene, this is it's not the ultimate action scene, but it's very John Woo action scene. The little boy is listening to what's the song from Wizard of Oz? Somewhere Over the Rainbow. What's the name of that?
I mean,
Isn't that the name of the song?
yeah, that's in.
Okay, so that's what he's listening to in his headphones, and there are guns going out, pound, 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 blood and guts and everything. The little boy is unaware because he has noise canceling headphones in 1997, and he's just walking through,
making it through.
Yeah, and fake Castor, he already lost one son to gun violence, and he's trying to prevent this, so he's diving on the ground. Once again, I'm going to say, Nick Cage did a great job, but Nick Cage is not an action star, but they tried to sell it. He's rolling on the floor, shooting like Mel Gibson. None of it's believable, but we're here. We're here for the ride at this point.
But
great,
made it this far.
Great action scene. I think all the henchmen died. His baby mama died. Her brother died. He kissed her in the mouth before he dies, which is disgusting. I don't know what this movie was trying to accomplish. But, so brother's dead, henchman dead. Archer,
son is alive.
Fake real Archer / Troy. Nick Cage has the boy, and he's absconded and left. But anyway, so now we're back at the FBI office. Archer, fake Archer, Troy, John Travolta, is he down in the dumps because his brother did. I can't have that. But I guess the director walks in and he kills him for no reason. But, I mean, this is the thing Troy would do, I guess. He just kills him. Then we intercut, flashback again to the other Troy, Nick Cage, Archer. Lord, he's broken into his old house. He's trying to explain to his wife that I am your husband. I know I look like Nick Cage, but listen to me. And she naturally is like,
terrified.
What are you talking about? He's shot because in the shootout he took a little bullet to the side. But anyway, he's there, and she's obviously not hearing this because nobody knows that you aren't Nick Cage. And she says, "Get out of here, boy. Buster, beat it, scram." And he does scram, but before he scrams, he says, "Listen, Marie," what's her name? Listen, Marie, your husband has A blood type. Nick Cage has O positive blood type. Keep that tidbit with you. And she does, because the next night she sticks her fake husband with a needle that she keeps handy. Oh, I don't know. We mentioned that she's a doctor, a lab tech, or something. She has the utensils. She sticks him, gets some blood, heads over to the hospital. At the hospital, she's done a blood test because the strange man who broke into her house, she believes him.
She took him at his word.
Yeah, she took him at his word. And she did the test, and the test came back and said, "That's not your husband." Like Maury Povich just says, it's like, you are not the husband.
You are not Sean Archer.
So they, as soon as the test finished running, who emerges from the shadow in the hospital? But Nick Cage, Archer / Troy. He's still shot, holding the side like, "I told you it was me." And all I'm thinking is, how did he get into this room in the hospital? He doesn't have the credentials. He don't have a badge. He don't even have a lab coat on. He's still in his street clothes, bleeding, and just walks in. Anyway, she stitches him up. And then he skedaddles. But by the time he's out of there, boom, the fake husband comes down to the hospital. He's also just walking around the hospital unrestricted. He has bodyguards with him, and nobody's asking for identification. 1997 was a weird place. But he comes in, he says, "Marie," I hope that's her name, "Edith, what are you doing up here?" She's like, "I'm a doctor. This is what we do." He's like, "Oh, okay." And he leaves. Yeah.
So, yeah, we're wrapping it up. So, like, they have this church scene. Troy, the fake Archer, he brings Archer's family. And we see a standoff between Archer, Troy, and Troy's girlfriend, who is killed. So I guess she didn't die earlier on, but she's killed.
Oh, so she made it out. She took the boy, I guess.
Yeah, we have a shootout between Archer and Troy. Troy ends up killing a boater, because he's trying to get away. He kills a boater. He steals the boat. He blows up the boathouse. And then there's a boat chase. So we've had a chase by land, air, and sea. At this point, they have covered
the marine model.
They have covered every surface land, air, and sea. So they end up escaping the exploding boat, so they're not dead yet. And we have like this scene with hand-to-hand combat.
Now, yeah, they've used gun, knives, and now it's old fisticuffs, baby.
Exactly, down to just the hands. So real Archer ends up killing Troy with the harpoon. I don't know why they chose that.
A harpoon.
They say, hey, we're going to take it to the water, so it's going to be a harpoon. The FBI shows up calling Archer by his name. I'm guessing the wife said, hey, before y'all go out there, don't shoot the one that looked like Castor.
Correct. Keep him alive.
Yes, because they start calling him Archer because nobody was supposed to have known about the project but the people that Castor killed. Yeah, I'm we just have to assume that the wife...
I'm not sure who, I did have a backup on this jump drive. Oops.
We're just assuming the wife told him. And Archer ends up, getting his face back. He doesn't want the scar anymore, so I'm assuming they're showing some type of healing through this process. He doesn't need that reminder anymore. Archer ends up bringing Troy's son home without his wife's input, which he has done the whole movie. He's allowed a complete stranger with his face into his home without notifying his wife. Now he brings this child home that he assumes his wife will be welcoming to, that looks about the same age as the one that they lost.
No kind of adoption papers or nothing. Just a loose child. Hey, baby, look what I got us.
He comes around the corner, and
that's why he wants the scar back. He was like, I don't need that scar. I got a new child.
Yeah, a child replaces him, I guess. I don't know. It was weird.
And then his daughter rubs his face.
And that's the end of it.
That's the end. That's the end. She rubs his face and says, hi, I'm Jamie. And then they
that's the
head
end.
over to the sunset.
He has another son.
Yeah, new son. That's 1997 Face Off. I hope it was very, very confusing. I'm trying to understand fake Archer, fake Troy. This is a very hard movie to explain, but I love my rewatch. I didn't see anything new because I think that the action scenes still hold up for the time, and I believe it's because they didn't use CGI. Obviously,
they didn't.
It was all practical effects. Not all. I'm sure some stuff was CGI, but most of it was practical effects.
John Travolta was really flying the helicopter at the beginning, I guess.
Oh, was he? I know he had a license. Tell me.
So I guess.
Well, he had a jet license. Can you fly a helicopter with a jet license?
I don't know. He's a pilot. So maybe, I said jet. Maybe he can fly more than jets. But maybe he did his own stunt there.
I think they said he did some. Nick Cage did a few here and there, but they did, obviously use stunt doubles for some of the higher stuff. But I guess they wanted to get in there and do what they can do. But but as far as the CGI stuff, that's why the budget was the 80, because the guys who directed, they were like, man, this could have been 100 million, for this time, because the stuff we wanted to do. But they just stuck with practical effects, and then the location changed. They initially wanted this to take place somewhere in the distant future to kind of explain how you could just do a face surgery, because 1997 doesn't make sense. But then they was like, yeah, well, that's going to cost us about $20-30 million. So let's just make it now and
everything else was ridiculous. So hey, let's just keep it in 1997.
Yeah. So rewatch was fine. Like I say, all of the action, it's over the top, but it's John Woo style. If you're familiar with any of his films. Obviously he had to have his pigeons flying, which other people have started to.
Is that a thing?
He has pigeons in the movie, like in the big action sequence. Do you remember in the church? That's when the pigeons they have their pigeons flying about with
what
the guns.
is it about it?
It's
just something he did.
Ask John Woo.
Okay.
Don't know what pigeons symbolize.
And
maybe he's from Hong Kong, so maybe that's a thing. I don't know anything about their culture, but
maybe just something his signature.
Maybe just like, man, it look cool when birds flying by. But I said, you've seen it in other movies now. After he did it, like the gun starts shooting and birds are flying. That's his thing. So yeah. So all that holds up. Like I say, the scene with the juxtaposed music, the Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and the violence. People do that now too. So a lot of stylistic stuff they took.
That's true.
From
those
John
contrasts,
Woo, and I guess probably other Hong Kong directors. Once once somebody crosses over and then it becomes a big thing, everybody
You see
latches
others
on.
follow
Yeah.
suit. Yeah.
So all of it held up. It's a over-the-top, ridiculous movie. None of it is believable, but it
Action
is
movies
enjoyable.
are now. Even that's just, and I'm
That's
fine
true.
with it.
Fast
I'm
and Furious
fine.
is definitely not believable.
Yes.
But I'm tuned in every time. I'm locked in now. It's so ridiculous that I have to be.
You just gotta after you seen 5, you just
You
gotta
got to
see
be
10.
along for the
Yeah,
ride.
you just gotta see the rest. Of them.
Talks of a sequel were in the works for a Face Off. Nothing has materialized, so maybe we'll see.
Who would it be?
I don't know if it's going to be like a continuation. It's going to be the little boy
he's
that he
dead.
bought that he stole.
Maybe
He gonna
so.
get his face taken off and do it all over again.
I don't know. Maybe
Face Off 2.
Maybe he finds out he killed my dad.
Look who's Face Off
Because I'm
now.
wondering what they do with that.
Oh, maybe
too.
so. Maybe he would. Maybe be like,
His
oh,
mama and his dad was killed, by the
Oh,
government, I guess you could
true.
say.
Yeah.
Like, then they took me home.
And now I'm an archer. But that's Face Off, man. Any parting thoughts still?
No,
Nothing?
good rewatch. Funny
Great
rewatch.
Go back and watch Face Off. Watch some of John Woo's. Watch Blackjack. Listeners, viewers, go find. I don't even know where you can find it at, but please find it out there on the web. There are sites. I'm not condoning piracy, but sometimes you just got to get your hands dirty. Look for Blackjack. John Woo's other films, a lot of stuff starring Chow Yun-fat from the 90s, 2000s. Great action movies, some karate, good stuff. I don't know
good
anything
stuff.
John Travolta's in. Taking a pill in 1, 2, 3. Watch that. He likes trains because he did 2 movies with trains in it. What about Nick Cage? Anything lately from him?
What was that movie?
Oh, Renfield. Watch that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
to
That was
Nick Cage.
Yes, Nick Cage all over.
Watch Renfield. He's Dracula, and it's Nick Cage being Dracula, the greatest thing you could ever ask for. So watch that.
Yeah, it was.
That's
cool.
all we have. If Steph don't have anything else, thank y'all for tuning in for season 3. Nothing but action. Steph, give him a tagline again, like I just did.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 1997.
Till next time, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Ready.